Hey everyone, and welcome to another Star Wars Games Update, where we bring you all of the latest and greatest in Star Wars gaming news. Today we've got some good and bad news to go over with the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, which has, interestingly enough, caught the attention of the entire gaming space on YouTube, with casuals and people who aren't even into Star Wars in general making videos trashing the game for its, disaster launch. And it's safe to say that Aspyr were not expecting to be in the limelight, especially in this fashion, but I'd say it's a good thing as it's forced them to take the right steps forward and actually put in some work into fixing the classic collection. But before we jump into the good news, I figured we'd first start with the bad, and that is the continuation of the whole mod drama, as things have taken an unfortunate turn there. Now, like everyone knows by now, prior to the launch of the Classic Collection, there were serious allegations made toward Aspyr by a modder named I Am Shaman, claiming that the Classic Collection was using their not only bootleg but also outdated fan mods of the Kit Fisto and Asajj Ventress heroes, rather than, the advertised actual official heroes that were released as DLC in the original Xbox versions of the game way back then. Aspyr then came out insisting that this is a lie and that they don't have, and I quote, any code or content that is taken from uncredited sources in the Classic Collection. But as it turns out, it was Aspyr who were lying in this situation, as now that the remaster has been out for a while, I Am Shaman has been able to confirm the presence of their fan mod files still in the contents of the game, showing that Aspyr did in fact originally use the fan mods, and even though they did change them out for the final release, they unfortunately forgot to remove the evidence of this in the game files, literally still keeping it in the game. Furthermore, to make things look even more bad for Aspyr, the Switch version of the Battlefront Classic Collection literally launched with the fan mods playable right in the game, not patched out or anything. And with the workarounds that I Am Shaman had to go about in order to create the fan mod Kit and Asajj to be playable in the game, such as for example copying and pasting the animations and attacks of Ayla Sakura for Asajj. This was very evident. And as expected, this has frustrated I Am Shaman. Not only that their work is being used without any credit given whatsoever, but the fact that they, like all of us, were lied to by Aspyr. Now, granted, I Am Shaman as a fan modder, of course, doesn't own any legal right to those mods, as that honor goes straight to the rights holder, Lucasfilm Games, which directly includes Aspyr Media in this case as well. And as the end-user agreement that was in the original games, it did state that the rights holders can use any modder's work whenever they want and all that jazz. So this isn't really brand new information or anything like that. Modders like I Am Shaman know what they're signing up to when making these fan mods. Nor, to be fair, is anyone arguing against that. However, the real issue here is that Aspyr was denying using fan mods at all, making I Am Shaman look like a liar and untrustworthy, only for Aspyr at the end of the day to be really using their mods anyway, and not even apologizing or making a statement about it. Which makes me wonder, if Aspyr had no problems lying about this, what else have they been dishonest about? Most likely, as was the case with this, only time will tell as more things will start being uncovered slowly but surely. That said, while we may need these days to start taking some of what Aspyr says with a grain of salt, we can at least commend them for the actions that they are going forward now, such as putting out a patch on Tuesday that features quite a number of visual and bug fixes in the Battlefront Classic Collection, such as including multiplayer fixes, audio fixes, inverted control options which are fixed now, And as well, the problems found in the single-player campaign, like the missing cutscenes, are now fully restored. The patch already is available on PC via Steam and is awaiting certification before it makes its rounds to the consoles, and hopefully that will not take too long. Like I said, there is quite a number of fixes found in this patch, a lot of which are changes to the visuals, and this is good to see, as Aspyr have been radio silent since making their rather generic first statement on the Classic Collection's disaster launch. Now granted, there are still far more problems left in the game that need to be fixed and looked at, as well the general consensus being that, all of this should have been taken care of before the remaster's launch, especially since nearly 20-year-old games should not come out with so many existing and brand new bugs on top of it and such. Now, sure, we all know by now that Aspyr screwed the pooch with this release, giving, a bad first impression to a lot of people and losing a ton of sales due to a lot of folks refunding it. But, what's done is done. And rather than continuing to beat a dead horse and keep going on talking about all the negative aspects of the Battlefront Classic Collection, I'd honestly much rather look forward to this remaster's hopeful, positive future. Because, as I've said many times before, due to just alone the 64-bit codebase engine that this is running on, then there is so much potential to be had with this remaster that the original games just cannot and will not ever amount to. And if I wasn't clear enough, I'm talking about mods, fan mods. And besides, who's to say that even though it did have a disaster launch, that it can't still end up being a good product later on? As, after all, this certainly isn't the first Battlefront that had a PR launch disaster. Oh, EA and DICE would know this very well, and now it's up to Aspyr to right their wrongs with this release as well. And that will do it for the Star Wars Games Update. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but to keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.